kicking off here is Dale Snodgrass in the P-51 Mustang. Ladies and gentlemen, inbound from the left, here comes Sean Tucker and Aaron Tucker. Like the one at the display, the Saab 9.3 Aero with cross-wheel drive features the world's most advanced all-wheel drive system. Now, ladies and gentlemen, take a look. The P-51 Mustang, as it climbs into the vertical right here over top, the 2008 Joint Service Open House. At the controls of this airplane at over 2,500 feet above the ground is retired U.S. Navy Captain Dale Snort Snodgrass. Dale is up there at the controls of what some people believe is the premier fighter in all of World War II. That depends on who flew it. If you were a P-47 pilot, you think that was the best. A P-38 pilot, you think that was the best. But over 15,000 of these aircraft were built. Actually, they became in existence because of a request from the British Purchasing Commission in 1940. They came to North American Aviation and wanted North American Aviation to actually build some other American airplanes that the Royal Air Force was using prior to America's entry into World War II on December 8, 1941. They were using Curtiss P-40 Warhawk. But they were also using North American-built Texan trainers that they called Arbiters. The folks at the Royal Air Force really liked the way that the North American Aviation built their airplanes, and they wanted them to build P-40 Warhawks, the Curtiss aircraft, under license. Well, Dutch Kindleberger, the president of North American Aviation, said, no, we don't want to build somebody else's airplane. Give us 120 days. Yes, only 120 days. And in that astoundingly short amount of time, the Mustang was born. Originally outfitted with an Allison V12 engine, it didn't perform well at high altitudes, and so the British took a few of their early Mustangs and put Rolls-Royce Merlin V12 engines in them, and the Mustang as we know it was born. Of the 15,000 that were built, about 150 remain flyable in the world today. And Dale Snodgrass, retired U.S. Navy captain, is at the controls of this beautiful P-51 Mustang right now. Watch him as he pulls up the 30-degree nose-up attitude and puts it into a beautiful slow roll. A top speed of this airplane over 455 per hour. You will see the stripes. If you look carefully, you can see the stripes painted on the wing. Those were invasion stripes that were painted on all Allied aircraft prior to and for the D-Day invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944, so that Americans on the ground would not mistake these aircraft, friendly aircraft, for German planes. Now, coming from the left, Dale Snodgrass. This gentleman is actually the man with more hours in the F-14 Tomcat than anybody in the world. Over 4,800 hours. I want you to get your cameras ready because Dale's coming in low and fast. Here he comes. Going to do the beautiful barrel roll. It looks so simple. He's working both his feet and his right hand on the stick to control the ailerons, the elevators, and the rudder to begin and end his maneuver at the same altitude and airspeed at which he started. Right down there on the deck, he'll get it over by the trees and pull up into a 4G pull, weighing 4 times his normal body weight. He'll roll it over once again, doing some basic maneuvers like rolls, loops, Cuban 8s. And you'll see the Cuban 8, or the horizontal 8 in the sky, performed by a number of the performers in today's show. And as you see it, the Cuban 8 actually became into existence because of a botched maneuver at the 1936 Miami air races by the late Len Povey. He was too low at the top of a loop. Let's see how low Dale brings it here. Len Povey was too low at the top of a loop, and so rather than making a smoking hole in the ground, he rolled out after 5/8 of a loop and did the same thing in the opposite direction. It's not that. Just performing a 4-point hesitation roll. So this Len Povey maneuver at the 1936 Miami air races that looked like like a horizontal 8 or an 8 laid on its side was a new maneuver that no one had ever seen. Begun by accident, just as a survival maneuver. And they asked him at the end of the performance what that maneuver was. And since he was trained with the Cuban Air Force pilots at the time, he called it Ocho Cubano, Cuban 8, and the name has stuck since 1936. Once again, right down on the deck with a Packard built over 7 horsepower, 1,425 horsepower, Dale Snodgrass in a low flat pass. It's a liquid-cooled engine. Packard built them under license from Rolls-Royce, and they powered not only Mustangs, but also were fitted to the huge Lancaster bomber, some of the Spitfires, and some of the Hurricanes flown by the Royal Air Force. But the Allison engine still was very, very much in use. The V12 engine that they had, still in use in the P-40 Warhawk and also the P-38 Lightning. Working his way in from the right. This is a great chance to get a picture of one of the premier fighters of all time. Dale Snodgrass was the son of a test pilot, attended the University of Minnesota, got a Bachelor of Science in Biology, and he was an All-American member of the swim team. And got into the Navy. And was the United States Navy's F-14 Tomcat demonstrator pilot. For a time, Dale Snodgrass was the man in charge of all the F-14 Tomcats in the United States Navy. And some of you who are aviation buffs may have seen on the internet a picture of an F-14 Tomcat in about 90 degrees of bank with the right wing disappearing below the deck of an aircraft carrier. And the captain on that said the pilot was grounded for 30 days. Well, the pilot was Dale Snodgrass, and since he was the man in charge, he wasn't grounded for 30 days. That was actually the start of an air show at sea for families and dependents of the sailors of the carrier fleet. And that was the way they got things started. Now you can see the landing gear is extended on the Mustang, and you can get a great picture of it on the screens. You can see it from the folks at Impact Video. Thanks, Jeff Lee, and all the guys at Impact for the great pictures on the big screens. As he gets ready to shut down, we want to say a great big thank you to McCullough Metro Motors. We'll double your stimulus check at McCullough Metro Motors, the only place where your stimulus check is worth double. McCullough Metro Motors, exit 7B off the Beltway. ExoStar, provider of e-business solutions for aerospace and defense, is a proud sponsor of this year's Joint Service Open House. We want to let you know that 11 o'clock today, actually it's just about ready to start, there is a silent drill platoon, Marine Corps silent drill platoon demonstration taking place in Hangar 3. There's Dale.